I turned off my stream a few moments ago, and I just wonder if anybody out there that's watching or listening to our show, are they still shooting off fireworks at the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia? That was a huge display of fireworks at the end. Welcome into Squared Circle Radio Live, our instant reaction to the Royal Rumble, the official first stop on the road to WrestleMania, where we see the WrestleMania sign for the first time. We learn some of the definite participants at WrestleMania. This is the kickoff. We are right here to react to it. My name is Chris Belcher. Welcome to Squared Circle Radio. If this is your first time joining us, thank you for doing that. Whether you're watching us on YouTube, whether you are listening on podcast, any of those things, we would appreciate a follow, a subscribe if you haven't done that already, a like, hit that thumbs up button on the video. And if you're live with us, drop comments, drop questions in the chat. The show is for the fans, by the fans. So we want you to drive the conversation. We're here to talk about what you want to talk about. If you're watching the replay, of course, you can drop comments as well, and we'll respond to each and every one of those. Again, my name is Chris Belcher. The Young Buck, Andy York, is on his way. He will be on here momentarily, but I wanted to go ahead and jump on so we get an instant reaction to the Royal Rumble and what a night it was. Obviously, I think we need to start with how the show closed. The Men's Royal Rumble. I'll also start the show off by saying, as we get into the Royal Rumble, that I was 4 for 4 in predictions or how I would book the show. So no, WWE has not hired me to book their shows, but some things happened exactly the way that I thought they would happen, or that I thought they should happen, that the way that I would book it. So my brother Bryce is in the chat with us. What's up? If WrestleMania is that empty, listen, I'm going to address that. He says if WrestleMania is that empty next year, it's going to be horrible. Listen, I will say this. If you look around at pictures online and some videos online that some fans took, it doesn't look as empty as it looked on TV. Apparently, those lights are really, really deceiving. The lights that they have on each seat, like they have at like the Intuit Dome and like they had at Money in the Bank. So apparently those lights are really deceiving. I'm not trying to be a shill and I'm not trying to vouch for WWE or whatever, because I'm going to tell you that the crowd was dead for the first hour of the show. So I do think they played a factor in how this Royal Rumble felt. So, Bryce, I think your point is spot on. I think, though, that those lights made the crowd look deceiving throughout the whole show. So, yes, Bryce, he says, I hate those lights. They look slick in an arena. I don't think you can get away with them in a stadium, an outdoor stadium. I think that's much like Andy's talked about all the time, and Jared talked about on the podcast too, that when you're in especially in an outdoor stadium, some of those lights can really just look really strange. But enough about the lights. Let's talk about the Royal Rumble. Dr. Durst in the chat with us. He says he mostly liked the show. Too many NXT and AEW guys in the middle. The AEW guys in the middle was wild. It was wild, and we'll talk about that. I can agree with the NXT from the female perspective, because we didn't get any NXT people from the male perspective. We did get some in the female Rumble, which we'll talk about. City Kitty also joining us live in the chat. Again, if you're joining us and you're not dropping comments and questions, please do so. I will do my best to get to each and every one of those as we share thoughts and as we get into the Royal Rumble. The lights were very deceiving, she says. They definitely had the pyro budget. Yes, they did, and it was wild. Drew McIntyre, yes, Drew McIntyre making his presence felt throughout the night, not only defeating Sami Zayn, which we'll talk about shortly, but causing Cody Rhodes to be eliminated from the Royal Rumble, and Jacob Fatu thrown out by Roman Reigns shortly after that. So Cody doesn't win, Jacob doesn't win, but my pick, the OTC, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, is the winner of the 2026 Royal Rumble and punches his ticket to WrestleMania. Now, the obvious question is, who's Roman going to face at WrestleMania? And if you go by my booking logic, I said CM Punk. And that logic seems to be following in the right trend because of Drew sticking his nose still in Cody's business. You still got Jacob Fatu lingering in there. So it seems like that Roman Reigns would go towards CM Punk. As long as CM Punk is still the champion by the time that the Royal Rumble, that WrestleMania happened. Sorry, I got a phone call and it came through my computer. If you guys heard that on the stream, I apologize. City Kitty says, OTC was my prediction to win. We won't see him again until Mania. Well, he's got to appear on Raw or SmackDown to make his choice. And then we won't see him until WrestleMania. You are correct. Bryce says, anyone but Brock Lesnar. Listen, I thought it was weird. I know Andy texted me in the middle of the show, and I'm sure he's going to want to talk about it. The Brock Lesnar elimination from Cody Rhodes was really weird. Like, are we going to get Brock and Cody again? I don't know. That was really strange. I expected the final two to be Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Dr. Durst says we needed more old guys. I agree with that. I think we did need more legends. Maybe City Kitty talking about the pyro budget earlier. Maybe they should have scaled back the pyro budget and spent it on some legends to get in the Royal Rumble. Got a new participant in the chat here, Ian. I think that's how you pronounce your name. If not, if I butchered it, I apologize. LA Knight should have won. What's left for Roman Reigns to achieve? Well, I think LA Knight could have easily won. I thought he had a great showing. He had a great pop when he returned. What's left for Roman to achieve? Well, let me bring in the young buck, Andy York, and we'll talk about, Andy, what's left for the tribal chief to achieve. He wins the Royal Rumble. And Andy, I tend to believe that this was WWE trying to make right a wrong that they forced on us 11 years ago. You're never going to be able to erase that win from history. But I think now that Roman is such a megastar and is in such good graces with the fans, that this was very much fan service right here.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right that it was just a righting a wrong that should have never happened, in 2015. But now it's a different character, a different person, a different time, and so I think now is the right call to do it if you are going to do it. Plus, I think now when they bring,
I don't know if that's my connection or Andy's going bad here, so we apologize. Let me get back to another comment here from Ian as we try to get Andy back here. Even Randy is a good call. I think Randy could have been a fine call. I think Randy, you can get a lot of things with Randy for WrestleMania without winning the Royal Rumble. I don't necessarily think Randy Drew, we talked about that, Andy, that could be a possibility. Dr. Durr says, remind us about 2015. That's when Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble for the first time. And The Rock came in to raise his hand and endorse him. And the people in Philadelphia just booed Roman out of the building, booed The Rock out of the building. And that was the WrestleMania 31 main event, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. And Seth Rollins cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase to sort of save that match, if you will. Andy having some internet difficulties. We'll try to get him back here shortly. All right. So Roman Reigns wins the Rumble. Again, as I predicted, I thought it was, again, there were a couple of weird eliminations. I'm not going to bring up Bron Breaker just yet because I want to try to get Andy's connection back on so we can talk about Bron Breaker. But Drew eliminating Cody, we talked about that. That was wild. The way that Brock got eliminated, that was wild. I also thought that it was very key. City Kitty says we're not going to see Roman until WrestleMania. There was one point in time I didn't think Roman was going to win, and that was the fact that he ran it back with Jey, and then he sucker punched Jey. And I thought that when Roman sucker punched Jey and then eliminated Jey right after that, I thought it was going to be Roman Jey at WrestleMania and that Roman was going to somehow not win the Royal Rumble. We got Andy back. Andy, what did you think about the interaction with Roman and Jey and all that?
I don't know. There was a lot of weird in this Rumble this year. I feel like just because of
The
that
Brock
interaction,
thing
Brock
and
getting eliminated the way
yeah,
he did. Like
mhm.
there's a lot of really weird moments. I think there was a part of this Rumble that was a massive like dull moment, and I feel like Jay's entrance was a big part of that because it took forever.
So long.
He got to the ring, he wanted to run it back again, and then Roman comes out, and we kind of get that whole thing. So I don't know. It was a really weird moment. I don't think. I mean, they literally Roman hit a move on him, and then they were teaming together later on in the match.
Yep.
So I don't think it was
And then
anything.
Roman chucked him out.
Yeah, I don't think it was anything other than nothing.
That would have been a fine WrestleMania match for them. Bryce in the chat thought the same thing, that it was Roman and Jey at WrestleMania as well. Let's get to a couple more of these comments that's going in here. Bryce, I see your comment about AJ. We're going to get to that. Where Ian in the chat, where was Jericho? We did not get Chris Jericho at number 30 like we thought. We got Gunther, which I was less than thrilled about Gunther being in this match, honestly, especially getting thrown out. Like, I think Sam Roberts said, if Gunther is in the Rumble, he needs to win the Rumble, especially because of what he did to AJ earlier in the night. So I didn't like him being in the Rumble. Javon Evans, like City Kitty said, was very impressive in the Rumble. Andy, here's what I want to get to with you. Ian in the chat, Braun is going to be mad at him. Pierce is going to pay for that. Andy, this whole Bron Breaker situation coming in at number 2 and getting attacked by a masked man that may or may not be Seth Rollins. Well, of course, we're led to believe that it's Seth Rollins, but the masked man has already been unveiled and it was Austin Theory. So this saga continues and it cost Bron Breaker the Royal Rumble. We didn't even get the Brock spot that we thought we were going to get. We didn't even get a chance for the Vision to help Bron Breaker win this. I love this, Andy. There are so many questions and so many possibilities you can go here.
Yeah, I mean, there's an option where maybe this isn't Seth, but it's somebody that Adam Pearce hired to take out Bron Breaker for this moment. I mean, there's a lot of different options that you can have. I think body wise, height wise, and everything. It may not I think we said the same thing about Theory.
Yep.
It may not be Seth that's revealed. I'm pretty sure that was Seth doing that stuff tonight, though, because it looked very similar to him. But yeah, like the whole saga that we're doing now, I have no idea what Breaker's doing for Mania.
Right.
Like could he go after Seth? Absolutely. Is there a world where we're randomly going to get a Bron Breaker versus Adam Pearce? Like, I don't want that. I don't think anybody wants that, but maybe we get, Pearce hire somebody or bring somebody in to face Breaker in his place. So I think there's a lot of options that they can go with for Breaker.
Yeah, for sure. We said that, Jericho wasn't in the Rumble. I mean, there's possibility that it's Jericho that, that Adam Pearce brings in and faces Bron Breaker at WrestleMania. I don't think you want Jericho's first Mania back in, whatever it is to put over Breaker, but you never know exactly what they're going to do. Lots of different ways you can go with this. Andy, I don't think we've really talked about this on the show. What do you think about the online narrative that Austin Theory is Seth Rollins' mercenary, essentially, and doing his bidding because they were in the, faction together during 2020, whatever, and you call that back? What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I have a hard time getting excited with anything with Theory.
Sure.
And I nothing against the guy. I think the guy is a solid professional wrestler with no charismatic quality about him at all.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I do think it's really interesting, especially the history that they have together. So maybe Theory is the guy that he put in there to, kind of make them feel comfortable and then, flip the switch on him and join them or, turn against him and join Seth. I don't really know what to expect. I think the injury to Seth really threw a wrench into all of this and threw a curve into all of this.
Huge.
And so, I don't know if Seth needs a mercenary. I think it's more interesting if it's Seth is now coming back to kill his vision that he created.
Yes.
Like, Frankenstein going back to kill his monster type of situation, I think is a very interesting story to tell. And so I would be more into that than I would Theory being his hired mercenary to infiltrate the vision to destroy it from within type of thing.
For sure. All right, let's talk. Got lots of people in the comments talking. Appreciate you guys being here, by the way. Keep those comments coming. If you're just now joining the show and you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Keep dropping comments and questions. We'll try to get to as many as we can. Dr. Durst, why did they leave the 21-year-old in there for like 30 minutes? Bryce chiming back with Evans is awesome. I think City Kitty said it earlier that he was, Javon Evans was very impressive. I thought it was a nice showing for him, a nice showing for Obafemi, nice showing for Sol Ruka, which we're going to get to the women's in just a minute, but lots of young stars. They did this last year, Andy, with Roxanne Perez, setting the women's record for longest time in a Royal Rumble, and Logan Paul finding himself, I know he's still young. He's more like a veteran to us now. He's been there for 4 years or whatever it is, but him being in the Final Four again this year. So Javon Evans, I thought, was really good. And then a lot of those others as well.
Yeah, I think they did a great job of building up 3 people in this Rumble, and none of them won. And I think that's a good thing about a Rumble, is that you're able to build people up without them winning. Javon Evans now feels like the kid's favorite babyface now. Like, yes, he is the new Kofi Kingston. He is the new Rey Mysterio. He is that character now that he's probably going to be the underdog, but he is going to be one of the best matches of the night every single night. I think
you will remember what Javon Evans did.
Yes, exactly. Yep. I think with Oba, they made him the new big man.
Yep.
Like, we're in a world of big man now with Bron Breaker and with Bronson Reed. But when Oba was standing next to Brock, I realized just how big Oba actually was. And I'm like, oh, this dude is Brock size. Like, he's massive.
I thought the opposite. When I saw Oba and Brock together, it reminded me how big that Brock is, because we always seen his vignettes of Oba and his shadow and the backlighting and how big his, shoulders are and his thighs and this, that, and the other. And then Brock goes nose to nose with him. It's like, Brock's chest is as big as his shoulders might not be as wide, but his calves are,
and I think
it just reminded me about Brock too.
Which I think is good, because now in our minds we're going, man, Oba and Brock are kind of the same now. Like, they're the same kind of build. They're the same, if they start building Oba as the next big thing, I'm not going to be shocked by it, because he fits that mold.
He does.
And then Powerhouse Hobbs coming in as Royce Keys. I hate name changes most of the time. Powerhouse Hobbs is a horrible name anyway. Royce Keys is a perfectly fine name. Apparently it's Royce is his oldest son's name, and then Keys is his mom's maiden name. And so I think that's a great tribute to them. I love that they did the Powerhouse Hobbs breaking into Royce Keys. I thought he looked like $1 million tonight too. For people who don't know who he is, now people are like, oh, let me go check out some of his stuff.
And
the moment between Cody in the ring,
face of Cody, it was good.
All of that stuff, they did a really, really good job with that. So I think they set those 3 guys up to be massive players in the future, while also building up your Codys, your Romans, your Brocks, your Drews. Drew even in this match got a moment. I think that's all of that stuff. They did a really, really good job with it.
Yeah, overall, I was very impressed with the men's Rumble. I thought there weren't any, we'll talk about the women's Rumble in just a few minutes. There weren't any moments where it felt like it was dragging. There weren't any moments, at least to me, that it felt like that we were waiting on something to happen. The action was fast paced. I feel like the intervals in which people came in was a lot faster than the women. It just seemed like they were going. And that could be because they were running out of time or, whatever. Doesn't matter. But the point is, it felt like it moved. Got to get to some of these comments here from, let's see. Bryce says they were going to put Penta and Ray together. They were going to at a AAA show, and then Penta got hurt. in the John Cena tournament. So I think there are plans there, Bryce. I think so. But they just kind of got pushed to the side a little bit.
I think Pence is too popular by himself right now.
That's very true. And you saw how quick Ray Phoenix was in and out.
Yeah. So I think that's part of it too.
Here we go. Ian says, I thought Cody is number one. When did the plan change? Well, it looked like that they flashed a graphic that Bron Breaker was number one last night. And I don't know what exactly happened with the interaction between Pierce and Heyman, but Breaker was number two. Honestly, like Oba being number one is fine, Andy, because we always talk about those guys that have to get an entrance in the Rumble because that's part of their character. And especially in Oba's debut match, he needed that. Was I a fan that he was the one that tossed Bron Breaker over? No, not necessarily, but he got over in a big way in this match, as Andy talked about. All right, let's get to Gunther and AJ Styles, because lots of people are talking about Gunther winning the Rumble or potentially winning the Rumble, not being happy about it. Dr. Durst dropped this comment earlier. Why does Triple H think we need to see Gunther all the time? And my answer, Andy just says because we do. Okay. My answer to that is look at the reaction of the people when he beat AJ Styles. You had everybody with their hands on their head, their jaws on the floor, and everything. That's why you need to see Gunther all the time. It's like we knew Cena's last match was coming, and we knew Gunther was that guy. We knew he was going to lose. Okay. We were not ready for AJ Styles' WWE career to be over. And Andy, we can speculate on Monday and on future shows exactly what's going to happen with AJ Styles in the future. But let's talk about the present right now. Gunther being the heel, getting heat, and ripping AJ Styles' career away from us when we were not ready. I thought that match was fantastic. It did everything it needed to do and then some.
Yeah, I have said it before and I'll say it again. Gunther is the first true heel that we have had in WWE in a long, long time. And what I mean by that is Drew McIntyre a heel? Absolutely, but there's a portion of the crowd that was supportive of him winning the WWE Championship, against Cody.
Yep.
You've had some other guys in the past like Kevin Owens and people like that, but they're able to turn the crowd. They're able to turn the crowd into their favor. And, they could very easily flip the switch to become a babyface and it would not shock anybody. We're at the point now with Gunther. I can't see him being a babyface anytime soon because of what he's done with Cena, what he did with Goldberg, what he's done with AJ Styles. I saw somebody tweet it and it's it's perfect. In the last year, Gunther has retired the face of WCW and Goldberg, the face of WWE and John Cena, and the face of TNA and AJ Styles. Like that's ridiculous that he has been able to do that.
Prime Thanos, as Ian says in the chat.
That's what he is.
Prime Thanos. Yep.
And you know what? It's about time that we got somebody like this in wrestling again. That we can look at. And wrestling's supposed to be about the fun. But when somebody finally beats Gunther,
that's it.
They're a made man. They are a made man at this point. It's
because now
like we were with Brock a few years ago of nobody could beat him. Yep. Oh, Roman kind of beat him, Seth beat him, but like once he is defeated, you're a made man at that point. And I think they're building Gunther up to do that.
Because not only are you beating Gunther, you're going to bat for Goldberg. You're going to bat for John Cena. You're going to bat for AJ Styles.
And maybe others.
I was just getting ready to say, and breaking news for those of you who have not figured this pattern out yet, going to bat for Brock Lesnar, going to bat for Randy Orton, probably going to bat for Rey Mysterio. I mean, maybe Jericho. Just start counting them down, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
They called him the career killer tonight. I'm not saying that all those guys' careers are going to end right now, because Randy Gunther is where this thing looks to be headed. I don't think Randy is retiring this year, and I don't think you can carry on this, I don't want to say gimmick, but you can't carry on this streak of Gunther for like a long, long time before it gets predictable and boring. You gotta spice it up a little bit. So again, I don't think Randy is retiring, but Andy, you're 100% right. Gunther's the no fun guy.
Yeah.
He just takes the fun away. He takes away AJ Styles from us. That's why he's so good. And, getting heat on him in the Royal Rumble tonight. I mean, he had his battles with Cody Rhodes at the Royal Rumble. He's faced Cody one-on-one in Saudi Arabia. He's faced Randy Orton one-on-one. He took Roman to the limit tonight. So Gunther's touching a lot of guys, and he's going to touch more guys. So, Andy, I think you're spot on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he is. I don't think there's always a question about who's the top face in WWE right now. We could give you, probably 4 or 5 different answers of who's the top guy, or who's the top face in WWE, who's the top heel in WWE, and it's not even close. It's Gunther. Gunther is the top heel in WWE, and I think that is, if retiring Cena was to get to that point, then absolutely, like this was worth it. If retiring AJ's WWE career was to get to this point, absolutely, I think it's worth it, because you also got to remember, like, and this is what makes me so mad about WrestleMania last year of him tapping out to Jey Uso, is you had the long Intercontinental Championship reign to back up. Now you've got the world title reign that you could have used to back this up, and then him retiring people. Like, he is looking like the WWE Thanos every single second that you build him up like this. And so I agree. Like, I don't think every match of his from now on is going to be retiring people. But if there's a wrestler that's ready to go out to passion and retire, Gunther's probably going to be knocking at their door, and it's going to make people it's going to, like, if they do the same stipulation, let's say SummerSlam, not even WrestleMania, but like SummerSlam, with Rey Mysterio versus Gunther, or Brock versus Gunther, where if they lose, they're retired, like the career is over. Everybody in the back of their mind is going, he's done this 3 times. Like, there's a good chance he could do it 4. And that's what you want. Like, that's what you want from a person like Gunther.
Ian's still hanging out in the chat with us. He was really expecting Demon Balor in the Rumble. Listen, I'm anxious to see how they follow up this Balor thing coming up on Monday, because there was no room for him in the Rumble. And then he attacked Punk at the end of the night. So he is clearly, they had a focus on Balor going into the Rumble, but there was nothing tonight, Andy. And I thought that they could have pulled something in just to show Balor, just to try to, I don't know, figure it out. But I don't know. Let's see. Let's stay on this Gunther topic real quick. Dr. Durr says, make a villain that looks like Lesnar or McIntyre. Then it's more credible. That's the point, though. Because yes, you can bring in the big muscle guy. You can bring in the big jacked up guy who can just toss people around and this, that, and the other. Or you can bring in the guy that might not look as menacing and who might just, get you with his mind, and he slaps on that sleeper hold and there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah. So yes, Brock and McIntyre can throw you 3 ways from Sunday, but you got a diabolical wrestling general who just goes in there and does it ugly and just does it old school, and it makes you, Andy, it makes you hate him even more. It puts the heat on him because he's not traditional in a sense of a big bad guy, whatever. Right. But dude, when that music hits, Yeah,
I mean, listen, it's going to get a lot of comparisons to like 2008 Randy Orton. Mm-hmm. Go back and look at 2008 Randy Orton. He is not this jacked version of Randy Orton that we've got now. He's not like your big Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre type, but he is a menacing evil heel because he takes people out. Like, that's just that's what he does.
Yep.
The best villains in movies are not always the strongest. Like, they're the ones that are masterminds sitting behind, but also they're cunning enough, they're smarting enough to do what you need to do to get the job done. And that's what Gunther is. Gunther, is able to fake tap out in order to get AJ to give up. Like, there's so many different things that Gunther can do. And he's actually good in the ring. And I think that helps. That helps a lot too.
And I think that makes people even more mad because they're like, I just want him to toss me around. I'm like, no, he's just going to chop you to death. Dr. Nurse says one day we may convince him. Okay. Before we move to the women's Rumble, AN is still in the chat with us. Again, thank you guys for being in the chat. If you haven't subscribed to the show, please make sure you do so. If you're listening on podcast, follow on whatever platform that you are on. We'd appreciate it. My name's Chris Belcher. That's the Young Buck Andy York, and this is Squared Circle Radio, coming to you live right after the Royal Rumble, the first stop on the road to WrestleMania. Speaking of the road to WrestleMania, AN says, who do you think Roman chooses at for WrestleMania? And Andy, I've already stated my pick, stated it on Monday, and I'm going to keep the train going. I think it's CM Punk. Do you still think it's Drew McIntyre, or do you think we're going the Punk route? Because I think, before you answer, I think there's a way you can get to Drew, and it makes sense. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I tend to go CM Punk.
I go CM Punk now because of what Drew did in the Rumble.
Yeah.
I think that plays a massive part into all of it. I'm not saying Drew's out of the realm of possibility. I don't even know if Drew's going to be world champion or WWE champion by the time we get to WrestleMania. Who knows?
Because Roman, sorry to interrupt, Roman he reserves the right to decide whenever he wants.
Yeah.
So he could wait until after the Elimination Chamber. Let's say we get this three-way, Drew, Jacob, Cody at Elimination Chamber. Cody wins, and then Roman chooses Cody. And it's a completely different conversation.
Well, and I think it's no coincidence that the Chamber is in Chicago this year.
That's true, too.
So, if he does his big announcement at the Chamber and he calls out Punk, then you're going to get that Chicago crowd and everything's going to play into it. Yeah. I lean more towards Punk than I do Drew, just because of the history with Paul Heyman and everything that happened last year. It is really weird to me, though, to have a Roman Punk feud with no Paul Heyman in it. Because now it feels weird to add Paul Heyman because he's in so many different things now. I don't think you want to add him to a third thing, but to make it about the title now and not about Paul Heyman, I think adds to it as well. So I think if you're going to do it, you do it now. This is more than likely going to be the main event for night 2.
Mm-hmm.
Punk Roman, probably some stipulation. They may make it a bloodline rules match or whatever they want to call it. I wouldn't be against that. Seth probably will get involved in this some way, somehow. Like there's a lot of different things that you can do. Yep. There's so many different options you can go. I would lean more towards him going after Punk than going after Drew.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, let's get to the women's Royal Rumble. I know we didn't talk about Drew and Sammy, but Drew doing Drew things, doing exactly what we thought he was going to do. Drew getting the win. Great effort, though, by Sammy. A really good match. Let's talk about the women's Royal Rumble, because I was 2 for 2 in Royal Rumble predictions. Liv Morgan punches her ticket to WrestleMania by winning what a lot of people might say, or at least I would say, was a hard Royal Rumble to get through, Andy. I felt like from 20 to 30, they hit us with some big hits, and it was a lot of fun. But I can't forget spots 1 through 19 and the way it just felt like, man, it just felt like pulling teeth trying to get this Rumble done. But Liv Morgan comes out on top regardless.
Yeah, it was a slow Rumble. I feel like the women's Rumble normally is kind of a slow burn, just because I don't think they have as many established, stars as they do on the men's side. I'm glad Liv won. I think it's a great accomplishment for her. I think you're probably spot on about what's going to end up happening tomorrow night or Monday night, and then head into WrestleMania. My biggest takeaway from the women's Rumble, 2 of them. One is they are strapping a rocket on Lash Legend, because Buddy, she's air in this Rumble, and she is everything. And I don't, my thoughts on this woman, and it's fine. She is everything Nia wants to be and better.
Or that WWE wants Nia to be.
Yes, but she's better. Like, she is really good in the ring. She's really good at what she does. She looks the part. She laid everybody out. And then my second takeaway is, again, you know how I feel about her. I wasn't the biggest fan of her. But this Natty gimmick, I'm all on board with. Mm-hmm. I am all on board with. And apparently they are too if they have her eliminating Becky. Like, that's that's a huge elimination for her to have. So I think they've got something planned for her. But Last Legend is another one that by this time next year probably would have a world title, or at least be fighting for a world title going into Rumble or Mania season for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think the Becky thing is one of the star power issues that I had in the Rumble, because it felt like you blinked and Becky was eliminated.
Yeah.
And it's like you had the moment with Charlotte, you had the moment with Maxine, and then Natty comes in and then Natty chucks Becky out. It's like, wait a minute, what are we doing here? It's like, it just felt weird to get rid of Becky so quickly, especially at a spot where the Rumble needed some star power, and she just went away, you know? But speaking of star power, dude, the pop for Rhea Ripley was absolutely insane. The pop for not only Nikki, but Brie Bella was, dude, she blew the roof off that place with the yes chants and the yes kicks and all of that. And then, dude, the boos when the Bellas got thrown out was absolutely awesome. It was really, really cool. I know they're not the best wrestlers, but we didn't get too many surprises and throwbacks on this show. For them to get that moment was super cool, I thought.
Yeah, I thought it was cool too. And also, kind of in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, we opening the door for a Daniel Bryan return. So I think that's always a massive possibility. I'm not the biggest Bella fan, but it was good to see her back and to do, not really lose a step. Like she looked fine. She looked like she was doing good out there. Everything that she did was on point. And again, being part of the process of making a star in Lash Legend, it seemed like. So I think they did their job. They did what they were supposed to do. And they kind of hit their point. So I thought it was great to see her back. Maybe they're going to be added to the fantasy TLC match I've got in my head. Brie Bella in a TLC match makes me a little nervous. That's for another discussion another day.
I mean, that was immediately what I thought whenever her and Nikki got in there together. I was like, Andy's so right. Like, they're building to this. Again, I don't know that anybody from Judgment Day is going to be represented if my booking goes correct. But you've got the tag match of Charlotte and Alexa, Rhea and Io, the Bella Twins, Nia Jackson, Nia and Lash. There it is. There's your fatal four-way TLC tag team championship match for WrestleMania.
Or even you could put Chelsea Green and Alba Fire in there.
You could. Yep.
I think Chelsea Green in a TLC match would be
a lot of fun
to see.
Yes, it would be a whole lot of fun. Let's get a couple more comments here in the chat. Dr. Durst, is Lash the new Jade except breaks fewer noses? I tell you what, if they could get Jade where they want to get Jade to, and they can get Lash at the same time, and then you're able to bring back still a relatively young Bianca Belair, like you have a very good nucleus of stars. Because listen, Bianca, I don't know how much longer she's going to do this, but that chick is a bona fide star whenever you have her in this mix. Jade's still working her way out. Lash, again, has proven that she can turn some heads and she can do some work. So you've got them, and then you add in Rhea Ripley, you add in Liv Morgan, you add in Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair as the veterans. It sets you, and Becky Lynch and Natty, sets you up for a nice women's division. But Andy, I'm not going to say that it's the Saudi Arabia crowd's fault that the first 20 entrants just didn't feel good. It seems like this women's division has some nice pieces. It's just not, it doesn't feel exciting right now. And maybe on the road to WrestleMania, we can make it exciting. It just doesn't feel that way right now.
Yeah. The thing with the women's division is I think the Intercontinental Championship is fine because you got it on Becky.
Yep.
Probably heading towards Becky and AJ. Yep. Maybe. I mean, I'm shocked she didn't show up in the Rumble tonight.
Right.
I don't think they're going to do anything special with the women's US title at Mania.
Correct.
So then you're looking at the two women's world titles, where if you get the Judgment Day triple threat and then you get, Jade and Bianca still, if Bianca is healthy and cleared in time.
Yep.
And then you get the women's tag match. Like, I don't think you really need to build anyone else up going into WrestleMania season. The problem is you just put, let's say we had 4 teams in the TLC match or whatever tag match they're going to do. You put these 4 teams together. Well, that's 8 ladies that have all worked together now coming out of Mania. You don't really want to use them in that same way again. So how are we going to freshen things up and make things feel different? So I think getting to Mania is not going to be the problem. I think after Mania is when we could really feel that we're missing something here.
Sure. Yep.
I think that's where it's going to really be. But then again, you call up Sol Ruka, you call up Lola Vice, they come in, add a little, spice to it. Jordan Grace gets more opportunities. So I think there are ways to build it up I think there are ways to build up new stars without having to rely on the same, 6 people every single time.
You got to I think it's a matter of you got to get the crowd behind these women. Like there was a clear difference in the reactions for Rhea, Charlotte, Alexa, Becky versus Zelina Vega, Jordan Grace, Julia even. There's a clear difference. Chelsea Green got a really good reaction, but there's a clear difference in some of the reactions versus the other reactions. So you got to find a way. I'm not saying everybody has to be the most popular women's wrestler on the roster by any stretch.
Right.
I just think you got to find a way to rise, bring these others up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree.
All right, man. Anything else to add? That pretty much covers the Rumble. Again, as you see on your screen, if you're new to the show, we're going to be live for you on Monday night directly after Raw. So there's going to be more Royal Rumble fallout. We'll see what happens on Monday Night Raw live from Philadelphia on Monday. Again, we have the Raquel versus Stephanie Vaquer. Speaking of the women, for the women's championship in a street fight on Raw. We'll see what the landscape looks like without AJ Styles. We'll be talking more about AJ Styles on Monday. We've been here for 45 minutes now and did not get to give just due to AJ Styles, this being his last match tonight. We will discuss that more on Monday. But anything else to add, Andy?
I don't think so. I think it was a good Rumble. Not the best we've ever seen. Probably, again, I think the most memorable part of this whole Rumble is going to be Styles. I think AJ Styles is probably the most memorable part of this, and that's fine. If that's all we remember from this Rumble, that is totally fine. But I do think we are in a good spot heading into WrestleMania. I don't feel like we have to do a lot of work to get to Mania now. We can just kind of ride this ship out until The Rock shows up at Elimination Chamber to throw another wrench into all of this. So,
he has a track record of doing that. So
Elimination Chamber, I get real nervous around Elimination Chamber time.
That's hilarious, especially it's in Chicago. I mean, come on.
Oh, man.
All right. That's going to do it for another live edition of Squared Circle Radio. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate you listening or watching. Shout out to our crew over at SportsWire Radio for playing our show. If you're listening over there, keep it locked in right here for some more great content. Again, if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join us every Monday night after Raw. For Mr. Andy York, my name is Chris Belcher. Thank you for joining us on another edition of Squared Circle Radio. We will catch you guys down the road.